spur of the moment live stream. I've been doing a lot of those. Well, not a lot, but I've been doing a few of them here or there recently, just to kind of mix things up when I got something on my mind. Part of it's also, I mean, I've been talking about Survivor season 50 quite a bit, and that's because, well, originally when season 50 of Survivor came out, I had planned to do live streams every night, late Wednesday night. It would have been kind of late, but after I'd seen the episode, to talk about what went on. But due to things that happened in my own life, uh, family matters, I was not able to do that. I have not been able to do that. I'm not for sure if I'll be able to actually follow through that again or not. So here tonight, just want to talk. I mean, talk about other things. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long this goes. But I do want to talk about last night. Recording this is actually 2 nights ago. Sorry. Today's date. Recording of this is April 24th. So I want to talk about the April 22nd episode of Survivor. I don't remember what the title is called, but it was kind of blowing up again on the internet. There was another twist, another thing that happened in the show that's never happened before. This one is kind of a big deal. It's another example of Survivor no longer really being Survivor, and it's just kind of devouring itself, throwing almost pretty much everything except for the husk of what the show, what the game once was away, except for this little straw husk, basically. But anyway, for those of you who don't like spoilers, which there shouldn't be anyone out there who is watching Survivor 50 or interested in it, that by now, 2 days later, you don't know what happened. But if you don't like spoilers and you don't know what happened in that episode, this is a good time to turn away. Just, turn it off, go away. You don't want to listen anymore. You don't need to watch because there will be spoilers here. I'm going to count down. 3, 2, 1. All right. There'll be lots of spoilers now, but Christian went home. Christian Ubeck, I can't pronounce his name right now, but he was originally from the season of David versus Goliath. In this season, he was the person, it seemed to be the mastermind of getting Mike White voted out. But anyway, Christian went home. It went home in this crazy, bizarre, really twist where they had to pick amongst themselves who was going to go. Well, the winner of the immunity challenge, had to pick amongst themselves who was going to go to the. He had to choose someone, and they were going to go off on their own. They didn't know if they were going to Exile Island, what they were going to be doing. Jonathan won the challenge, and he let those who were wanting the opportunity to go, because previously, Sari, she got to go to Exile Island, pick out coconuts, and got a coconut, and got to come back and got a vote in that tribal council and influence things quite a bit. So they thought that something like that, they would have an opportunity to win something really cool, possibly an advantage of some sort. So what happens? They played rock, paper, scissors amongst themselves, and Christian ends up winning. So he gets sent to this raft, and on this raft there's this puzzle, and there's these things you can push off, and at the end, once the last weight, because once you push the first one off, it's like a timer. I think there were 7 of them. Boom, 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 boom. They go off. So you figured, at the most, there was probably a minute worth of rope there. So he had about 7 minutes to finish this puzzle. And this challenge was created and thought up, shouldn't say invented, because the basic concept has been done before in Survivor, but it was thought up by Jimmy Fallon. And, well, Christian, he actually knows Jimmy Fallon previously. He knew who he was. He was acquainted with him. I don't know if they're actually friends, but the way they've acted on the exit interviews and things like that now, it seems to be that they are somewhat friends at least. And so Jimmy Fallon, here the thing, if you finish this puzzle by the time this was done, you got to put a vote in the urn ahead of time for somebody. It was like getting an extra vote for the upcoming tribal council that you got to vote for somebody and they wouldn't even know who it was. And there was a vote already in, an extra vote that you'd already put in the urn that no one knew what it was that you got to do it. But then there was a twist. And he actually didn't know what the twist was going to be exactly completely, because part of the twist was that instead of getting to put somebody else, writing somebody else's name in there, he was going to have to write his name. He was going to have to write his own name down and to put it into the urn. So at tribal, he was going to have to vote for himself. Now this, for me, this kind of ticks me off in all honesty. Survivor, since the very beginning, there's been a very hard rule that you cannot vote for yourself. You have to vote for someone else. That's kind of the reason they've done these stupid things like with the fire challenge at the end when they get down to 4, and just different things like that, because when they had originally there was like 3 people and they had 2 people, and like whoever won the challenge was the person who got to decide who was going to go with them to the final. Because they were only, the other 2 people were going to, their votes are going to be canceling each other out, so only the person who won immunity could choose. They chose who got to come with them to the final. That's been a very hard and fast rule. There were a couple times, I don't remember which seasons, it had to be pre-season 42, but there were a couple of times where there were people who wanted to vote for themselves, who would have voted for themselves because they knew they were going to be a target and they hadn't gotten any votes yet and things like that. So if they voted for themselves, it would cut off the heat from them a little bit. But anyway, that's always been a hard and fast rule. You can't vote for yourself. So they threw that away, of course, in this crazy thing that Jimmy Fallon came up with. But not only that, they added humiliation to this loss of this challenge, because Christian was not able to finish the puzzle. He had about 4 or 5 pieces yet to put in. The puzzle fell into the ocean. There was a letter. He had to go back to camp and read the letter in front of everyone. And the letter let everyone know that he lost this challenge and that he had to vote for himself in the next tribal council. That letter guaranteed Christian was going to go home. Now, I know there were some people out there saying, "Oh no, the reason Christian is going to go home is because he brought up Ozzy to Suri, blah 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 blah." No, that is not the reason Christian went home. They were going to vote Rick Devens out. Rick Devens was going to go home because Rick Devens had the fake idol, and they wanted to flush that idol for sure, make sure that he played it, because if he didn't play it, they wanted him gone. So if he didn't play it, he was going to go home with an idol in his pocket. They wanted him to play it, and he knows that was a fake idol. He was going to have to play it then, but then this gave Rick Devens, another night, another day to live. But his best friend and compatriot throughout this entire season got sent home. And so anyway, the focus went from Rick to Christian, because who would not vote for Christian unless you were one of his closest allies? Now they split the vote, so some people did vote for Rick, but who would not have voted for Christian once they knew he was going home? Hi, Dan. So anyway, Christian, he automatically, once he read that, it was obvious he was going to go home, because pretty much everyone, or at least the majority of the people left, were going to vote for him to go home. And that, I don't know, once again, it changed the rules of the game. I don't know, this whole season, I started out very hopeful for this season after watching every episode from season 1, the original first season of Survivor, all the way through 42. I stopped watching Survivor after season 42 because of the Hourglass Challenge that they had. But once again, that was a challenge that changed the entire nature of the game, changed so it was no longer really Survivor. Now, especially this season, and if they carry things forward that have happened this season, which they very well might, Survivor's not really Survivor anymore. It has become like the Hunger Games. Survivor used to be, there were certain things. Even though there were crazy things that could happen, there were rules. There were things that, this doesn't happen. It's a process that goes through. You have an idea of the gameplay. Things they have added here or there, certain things have made it a little bit more interesting here or there. The idols, the hiding of these idols around, that was a really good thing when they did that. I've always thought Exile Island was kind of a good idea, or a concept of like that, Redemption Island, when they did that, where you had to possibility of being able to come back into the game of some sort and things like that. Those things I like. I don't like some of the twists where I know there's some of these newer people that have only been watching for like maybe 5 or 6 seasons, maybe 7 or 8, I don't know, but that they're all about and everything like that. These crazy twists where you get a steal votes and you cancel somebody else's vote out and all that stuff. I don't like those things. You should not. It should not be allowed. One, there should be the things you win, the things people get. They should be advantages. They should be something that adds to the game, not takes it away, something away, not diminishes it. And Survivor is constantly now. They're constantly diminishing what the game was, how the game is played. Like I said, it's more becoming like the Hunger Games, where pretty much anything for the most part goes. You think you know what's going on, but no, you don't. So I'm really disappointed by this season. I was disappointed by last night's or 2 nights ago, the most recent episode. I figured Christian was not going to win this season. I kind of had a feeling early on. I mean, I liked him originally in David versus Goliath, but I figured just in this season he would not win. He wouldn't be able to get to the end. But I mean, there was a possibility he could have if this didn't happen, because he's a really smart guy and he does kind of know people fairly well for the most part, but he still. I just had a feeling he wouldn't. I don't think he would have. He may have got it to like the top 7 or 8 possibly, but I don't think he would have made it to the. At least I don't think he would even made it to the final 4 or 5. So, but I would like to have seen him play because he's a kind of interesting player. There's a couple people. Well, actually, one person I really don't care for. I don't think brings anything to the game that's left. That's still there, that probably shouldn't be there. I'm not for sure why that person's even in this show except for quotas, but anyway, not going to go there. But so that's my thoughts about Survivor. And also tied to that is that Jimmy Fallon sucks. I used to like Jimmy Fallon somewhat. Of all the late night hosts, I thought he was the one that was most bearable, the ones that were left after late night TV started its decline about 10 years ago. I found him the most bearable of them. He still is kind of the most bearable, but it's stuff like this that just makes me don't like him. Yeah, it's upsetting. I mean, he seems like a nice enough guy and things like that, but it's just like, that's a crazy thing. Why? And then, I don't know, once again, and then this was thought up by Jimmy Fallon. I think Jimmy Fallon was mentioned more in that episode 2 nights ago than some of the cast members who were voted out early on were. Poor Jenna. I mean, the first one out. She was hardly mentioned at all in the season afterwards. Like she's forgotten. Who was the second person that was even voted? I don't even remember now. Forgotten. They were barely mentioned. Jimmy Fallon was mentioned more. People will remember more about Jimmy Fallon than they will remember the first 2 or 3 people that were voted out. So that's another crazy thing. This season, yeah, it's just been like Celebrity Survivor without celebrities actually playing on there. If they want to do Celebrity Survivor, fine. Have one of the seasons be an actual Celebrity Survivor that is just celebrities and do that thing on its own. Don't bring the celebrity aspect into Survivor itself. I never did like when celebrities are on Survivor. I didn't like, to be honest, I didn't like Mike White when he was originally on the show. I didn't like the fact that they brought him back again. I mean, of course, he had the opportunity after being on there the first time and things like that. But I mean, he's huge. Been a huge name. He's been kind of huge in Hollywood for a long time. I didn't like it back in the day. There was a few football players on there. I didn't like it when, I can't think of her name, but for the Facts of Life woman, when she came on there, I mean, I knew who she was, and I thought it was somewhat cool, but it's like, I didn't like the fact that she was on there, because it's like, you've had your 15 moments of fame. Let some unknown person have a chance to, win something to better their lives. You can be a fan of the show, but I mean, anyway, I don't want to go into that aspect of it anymore. But so yeah, Jimmy Fallon sucks because of this. And I'm not afraid to say that. And it is partially Jimmy Fallon's fault because he's the one that created the crazy twist that happened last night that changed, once again, the nature of the game even more so again, that got rid of a very hard and fast rule of Survivor that has always been there, and I didn't like it. It's not Survivor. It might be Survivor in name, but once again, it's just this very thin straw man walking around. I mean, it looks like Survivor, but it's not really Survivor anymore. I will stay. I will watch this season until the end this season, but I don't know if I'll be back again. Probably not next season, in all honesty. Whenever, if they do something crazy again, they bring older contestants back again, fan favorites or something like that. Maybe depends who would be on there, but I don't know. There's not a whole lot to make me want to watch the show after this season, after what they've done to it. So, good job, Jeff Probst. Well, this has been another Venture TV Land. I'm going to sign off now. I appreciate the one or two people. Dan, thank you for watching, popping in here, there. And the other person that was there for shortly, I don't know who you were. And anyone else who watches this in the future, I thank you for watching. And yeah, do you watch Survivor? Let me know in the comments if you do. If you are, is there another reality show that you like, that's not Survivor? Let me know. I'd like to hear. Let me know in the comments. I thank you for watching. Until next time, that's a wrap.